square miles. To tourists, it is a paradise on Earth. But to the people that have inhabited this island for centuries and who carry with them the traditions of their ancestors, Hawaii is something very different. For many, like tribal leader Kimokeho Kapehulahua, it is the place where so-called star people came to Earth centuries ago and created humans.
This is where they settled down. It was definitely all of a resting place and overlooking these people that this created. The ancient Hawaiian, there was not a religion. It was just a way of life. We're all offspring of star people. We call it Napoi Kalani, the people of the heaven.
Each autumn, when the Pleiades star system appears on the horizon, practitioners of the old native Hawaiian faith gather to celebrate the harvest and honor Lono, the god of rain and peace, who descended to the island in a canoe.
The Hawaiians believe that their people originated in the Pleiades. During the festival, the kahunas would chant the epic of creation, the Kumalipo chant, in which they would tell the story of the descent of Lono on a rainbow. And it's thought that Lono descended from the Pleiades. It also makes sense that he could have returned to the Pleiades as well.
Did extraterrestrials visit Hawaii in the distant past? And if so, for what purpose?
I've always said that Earth is a planet of experimentation. I keep thinking of the island of Dr. Moreau, where you're sequestered in a certain area and you can conduct your work in quiet and in privacy.
What if the planet itself has been an experimental lab? Extraterrestrials would use islands for one experiment, tops of mountains for another experiment, but they would control what they were doing by keeping their different experiments separated from each other.
If I were an extraterrestrial looking for the perfect laboratory, I would look no further than the Hawaiian Islands. Before the arrival of Europeans, there were no reptiles, no mosquitoes, no rats. It was as pure a place as any on our planet. And in many ways, it was the perfect spot for a laboratory.
Hawaii isn't the only island where there are stories of visitors who descended from the sky. Off the coast of Great Britain is a tiny landmass that the locals say was once populated by beings who arrived in what they described as cloud ships. At number 9 on our countdown of mysterious islands, the Isle of Man. The Irish Sea. Located just off the eastern shore of Ireland lies the Isle of Man. Home to approximately 80,000 people, this small island nation is roughly half the size of Los Angeles, stretching 32 miles long and just 14 miles across. But according to folklore, the Isle of Man was once home to a godlike race of beings called the Tua De Danann.
The Tuatha De Danann, probably the most important tribe or figures that show up in Irish mythology. Tuatha means tribe, De means gods or divine, so divine tribes, gods of the divine.
There is a description in the mythological material in the early Irish literature of the Tuatha De Danann arriving in cloud ships and landing on a mountain.
According to the ancient stories, after the arrival of the Tuatha De Danann in Ireland, the Isle of Man became ruled by a king named Manannán mac Lir and served as a home to many of these visitors from the sky.
Manannán mac Lir was one of the Tuatha De Danann, and he was a god for the Celtic peoples. He also had many magical powers. For example, he was known to be a sorcerer and to be able to change his shape into that of anything that he wished.
The Tuatha De Danann had an arsenal of very technological sounding weaponry and circles of light they used to travel around Ireland upon. The ancient astronaut theory
place, and that is extraterrestrials. Could the legends of the Tuatha De Danann be describing otherworldly beings that once inhabited the Isle of Man? Perhaps further clues can be found by examining UFO sightings that have been reported on the island for centuries. There have been reports of UFOs on the Isle of Man for a very long time. The peoples there still believe in them today. They still see them on a regular basis. And the most common type of report is that strange lights move about for a period of time and then disappear.
So you have to think, really, that Isle of Man was some kind of island that was chosen by extraterrestrials. They would land their UFOs there. And in fact, legends about UFOs and extraterrestrials continue on the island even to this day.
If you travel just 450 miles west of the Isle of Man, you will come upon the site of another mysterious island. But this one can't be visited because it reportedly vanished beneath the ocean. Number 8 on our list, Hy Brasil. The North Atlantic Ocean, 200 miles off the western coast of Ireland, lie open waters as far as the eye can see. But according to 14th century maps of the area, this is the location of a so-called phantom island known as Hy Brasil.
Hy Brasil allegedly appeared and disappeared behind the mists. It could never definitively be found, although its putative location is marked on some of these early maps.
Hy Brasil was first recorded by the Italian Majorcan cartographer Angelino de Dell'Orto in 1325, who described the island as being a strikingly round form. Then, in 1497, Italian explorer John Cabot reported reaching Hy Brasil. Other explorers of the time returned from the island with accounts of meeting beautiful, glowing people.
Like a lot of other mythologies, such as Atlantis, Hy Brasil was thought to be the source of civilization. And these people originated from the stars. They are the people that the human race descended from.
Might Hy Brasil have been a place where otherworldly beings landed on planet Earth and jump-started civilization? And if so, what could explain its mysterious disappearance and reappearance over the years? Ancient astronaut theorists believe a clue can be found within tales of vanishing islands from Greek mythology.
In ancient Greece, there are these stories of type of movable island that the ancient Greeks referred to as asteriae. Asteriae means stars falling from the sky. And in certain instances, these stars landed in the water and then they were able to move around under its own propulsion. So what if Hy Brasil was nothing else but a glorified extraterrestrial craft? In the Mediterranean Sea, there's an island rich with history and culture that spans thousands of years. But perhaps what's most intriguing are the mysterious megalithic structures found there. Structures that are believed to have been built by giants. Number 7 on our countdown of the top 10 mysterious islands, Sardinia.
Sardinia, Italy, located 116 miles west of the Italian peninsula. This picturesque island in the Mediterranean boasts rugged mountains, arid grasslands, and white sand beaches. It is also home to many mysterious ancient stone structures built by the Nuragic civilization that was believed to have inhabited the island nearly 4,000 years ago.
Sardinia is probably best known for its abundance of structures called nuraghi. And These are conical towers, usually truncated at the top so that there's a flat base. There are approximately 7,000 Nuraghi that scholars have uncovered on Sardinia, though that number could be as high as 20,000 or more.
These Nuraghi are made out of huge basalt boulders. They're stacked up into towers and walls and beehive chambers. Archaeologists do not know how they were all built. They assume that huge ramps were built to move all of this material. Throughout Sardinia, there are stories of giants. And you have to wonder if whoever was building these structures were giants.
Is it possible that Sardinia was once home to a population of giants? Ancient astronaut theorists say yes, and point to several stone statues found on the island, known as the Giants of Monte Brama.
So the giants of Monte Brama are very tall stone giants that were found on the western coast of Sardinia back in 1974. Since then, there's been numerous excavations, and over 40 of these stone giants, over 8 feet tall, have now been reconstructed from pieces that were found there. For all intents and purposes, the face looks like a replica of C-3PO, the robot. And the fact that archaeologists suggest that these are the replicas of the local population, that they even call them the Giants of Monte Brama, you have to wonder, is it possible that Sardinia at some point was visited by extraterrestrials? And I think the answer is yes. The ancient statues of giants on Sardinia are truly extraordinary. But there is another island near Australia that has stories of giant beings that are said to actually be living there today. Number 6 on our countdown of the top 10 mysterious islands, Guadalcanal. Almost 2,000 miles northeast of Australia lie the Solomon Islands. While this chain contains more than 900 islands, the most well-known is Guadalcanal, which served as a strategic military base during World War II. Today, a series of mysterious events have convinced locals the island is home to enormous otherworldly beings.
There are mysterious legends all over the Solomons, actually. A lot of the stories in Guadalcanal tend to talk about giants, the relationship between people and giants. Giants are often portrayed in different ways. Sometimes they're benevolent giants, they help people, they look after people. But there are stories about giants killing people and taking over things.
There are legends and stories that go way back that suggest that giants actually still live on the Solomon Islands. Some say they're kind of hairy beasts kind of beings, others say they're more humanoid. And some say they even relate and kind of mate with the human population.
People talk about it, that giants actually do exist. They existed in the past. Today, with all kinds of developments that are taking place, they shift further into the mountains. They really do exist. It's not just a mythology to scare children.
According to one report, in 1998, workers in a gold mining operation witnessed what they believed might be evidence of some type of giant humanoid when one of their bulldozers broke down. The workers claimed they removed the 10-ton blade from the machine to make overnight repairs. But when they returned to the dig site the next morning, they were shocked by what they found. The researchers believe the answer can be found in eyewitness accounts of mysterious objects in the sky.
The Australian author Roy Ron believed that incidents of the giants that he had been told about by the natives were related to UFO activity. And from what he could put together, there was some kind of UFO base deep in the mountains of central Guadalcanal, and it involved these giants.
The Solomon Islands has been a hotbed of UFO activity for centuries. There are numerous accounts of abductions, people who disappear after coming into contact with these UFOs, never to be seen again.
You have to wonder if these famous giants of Guadalcanal were in fact extraterrestrials.
We're coming up on the halfway point in our countdown of the top 10 mysterious islands. The South Pacific is home to some of the most remote islands on Earth, and the history of this region is filled with stories of otherworldly visitors, like the next entry on our list, number 5, Nuku Hiva. The South Pacific, 3,000 miles west of Mexico, lies a rocky volcanic island known as Nuku Hiva.
Nuku Hiva is the largest of the Polynesian islands, and it's the northerly part of the group. It is the capital.
According to local legends, Nuku Hiva was built by the god of creation, Ono, for his wife. Once it was complete, their offspring populated the area. In 2018, ancient astronaut theorists Giorgio Tsoukalos and David Childress traveled to Nuku Hiva and met with local guide Aniata Kimitete to investigate the stories about the arrival of the gods, as well as the statuary depicting them.
Oh wow, okay. Is this considered a tiki?
Yes, these tikis represent the population.
So, what is a tiki?
A tiki at first was the representation of our god of magic and sorcery. He was one of the only gods in French Polynesia that has the face of a man.
To the people of Nuku Hiva, the word tiki refers to both an ancestral figure that came to the islands in ancient times, as well as the statues that represent him. They are variously carved in both wood and stone, and often depict a being with large, gargle-like eyes.
The lore has it that Tiki was the primary ancestor and was created in the image of the sky god. The local people made statues in honor of their creator god, Tiki, and used them in worship.
And this is what tiki looks like?
Yes, because they say in the legend that when Tiki left the earth, they made a sculpture of how he looked like, just to have something to remember from Tiki.
There are multiple other versions of the exact same motif worldwide, with people with elongated skulls and giant goggle eyes. Like what comes to mind immediately is in Peru.
Yeah, at Tiwanaku and Pumapunku, you have the same goggle-headed eyed people. You have that in Mexico too, with the Olmec statues.
Yes, these may be depictions of actual extraterrestrials who visited the Earth thousands of years ago. I still get goosebumps thinking about my trip to Nuku Hiva and seeing the carvings of the tiki. But another mysterious island in the South Pacific has something even more astounding. Hundreds of massive stone statues. The number 4 site on our countdown, Easter Island.
More than 2,000 miles southeast of Nuku Hiva is one of the most isolated places on the planet, Easter Island. Today, some 5,000 people make their home there, most of whom are the descendants of Easter Island's original inhabitants, the Rapa Nui. But the island's most famous residents are the hundreds of massive ancient stone statues known as moai, that are scattered across its grassy cliffs. Most are between 15 to 20 feet tall, but the tallest
是难叫啦！真的，这个要录下来，真的，fucking retard 的。retardation，哎呦咧，跟你那雞巴 fucking hell，LDA， you design something that works or not？ 臭雞巴呀！什么叫 No IU detected？ 不要以为啊！啊！ 只有鸡歪狗哦，鸡歪狗的时候哦。Who's to compensate me for my time?
Alright, what do you guys think about the
你做什么？跟你那个鸡排。 们懂什么叫鸡掰狗吗 ？Hello， 真的 maybe